Here we are in the end of October already. Can you believe it? So what's that mean for us? It means let's look back and evaluate how we've done through the year, and let's use that evaluation to help us start planning for next year. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Stand-Up. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to help make you a more effective leader, and more importantly, to help you love what you do. End of the year. So let's take a look at the year. Go back to January. And when we started January, maybe you had some resolutions. I know you set some goals, and maybe you chose a word. So let's just take a look at those. Resolutions. Did you set a resolution? Can you check them off or not? If not, you still have a couple months to get there. Why didn't you check them off? What else got in the way to getting them, to you finishing those? Goals. As a business operator, you probably had, if you're a business operator, you probably had some production goals, maybe you had some leadership goals, maybe you had some revenue goals. What were those goals that you set for yourself? And now, how are you doing on them? And sometimes, maybe you need to reevaluate those goals. Maybe you met those goals really easily. So now you need to reevaluate them. And okay, I exceeded that goal easily. My new goal is set here. Or, hey, things changed. The economy changed. The job market changed. There's no way I could meet those goals. So readjust them. But be honest with yourself. How did you do with meeting your goals? What makes sense as you evaluate this past year? All right, so on this last one, word. In the January, many of us set words. I set a word of pace. And how did that word work for me? How did your word work for you? For me, it worked pretty well because it influenced me throughout the year. As I'm thinking about word, I didn't have just a steady pace through the year. I had a different pace through each month. July has a slower pace than those other months like February, March, April, where I'm really cranking, really working hard in those areas because I slowed down in July. What makes sense? So it influenced me. Am I on the right pace? Am I where I need to be to get to my ultimate goal? It worked for me. How did your word work for you? How did it influence you? Maybe it didn't work well for you. What do you need to do as you start looking at next year? All right, so the next part, growth as a leader. All right, so that's the second part to evaluate. Where were you when you started January as a leader? This is where I was. This is how I was as a leader. Where are you now? Are you above it? Are you below it? How have you grown as a leader? Maybe you got promoted. Great, congratulations. Maybe you didn't get promoted, but you're completely happy with how you grew as a leader. Maybe there's something that you really, really worked on that you wanted to improve. Maybe it's your executive presence. Maybe it's how you developed others. Whatever it is, how did you personally grow as a leader? An important milestone for you, because this is all about leadership here. Second part of that is, you're a leader. How did you help develop leaders that you're with those that you lead? What did you do to help them grow? You can evaluate. Okay, there's some things that I really wanted to do, but I didn't get there. Here's what I need to start thinking about next year. Evaluate yourself. Realize, hey, I got a little bit of time here before next year starts. I can finish up. Maybe there's a couple things I can get started. All right, so that's behind you. Now let's take what you just evaluated of yourself and use that for planning for next year. And I have 4 questions for you to answer. Number 1, as you look at last year, what worked? As you're starting to look, what worked? Whatever worked, maybe you need to do it again, get a continuation, maybe improve on that. What did not work? Get rid of it. For me, I know that word worked, to have the right word, and I really did spend a lot of time thinking about it last year on what's going to work for me this year, and that worked well. What did not work? I have to think about that one a little more. There's a few things I'm not, like, okay, that did okay. I need to think about that a little bit more. Next question. What do I need to start doing? There are some things you need to start doing. Maybe as a leader, maybe you're trying to lead your team by meeting with individuals one-on-one and trying to influence a team. Maybe it's, hey, I need to start meeting with my team more as a whole team. What do I need to stop doing? Maybe you need to stop being there for some of the meetings. There are some things we can grow by stopping things. I grew this year by stopping a few things. I narrowed myself down, said this is what I'm going to focus on, and it has worked for me. So how can you grow? By stopping doing things. There you go. Reflect back. How did the year go? What made it? Did you meet your goals? Did you not? Evaluate yourself and help yourself. And now start your planning for next year as we go into November and December. Thanks for listening. Hope you found that helpful. Have a great week. See you next Monday morning, 8:30.